are. It's a special nighttime keep growing episode. We've only done like 2 or 3 of these in the past.
Yeah.
Every single time I think that they've been our best podcasts.
Yeah.
I think we've got into some real hot topics.
Come here, you got some sauce on your chin.
Some sauce on my chin. Thank you, honey.
It won't come off.
Oh, well, I'll lick my hand and then rub my chin.
Yeah, well, there can definitely be something to say about nighttime being, ripe for good conversation and things like that. Like,
this is special for us. We've got a little cup of tea each, haven't we?
Yeah,
we've got a little
cup of tea. We've got a sweet treat.
So maybe if you're at home, get a little cup of tea.
Yeah.
Pour yourself a little cup of tea. If it's morning, noon, or night, pour a little cup of tea. We've been a bit naughty. We've got some treats here. I've got a little Eccles cake, which I love. Meg's got a little millionaire shortbread.
I've got a little millionaire shortbread, which looks lovely.
Yeah.
Never been a big Eccles cake girl.
They're so good.
I don't know why.
They're just amazing.
'Cause I love scones.
Scones are great too.
But Eccles cakes, for some reason, I think it's too much fruit in an Eccles cake.
I've always been a big raisin guy though. I love raisins.
Yes, that's right.
So it's like my perfect little treat.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're
Have you
happy
ever had
to.
rum raisin ice cream?
No.
This is rum raisin.
says the person who says he loves raisins.
How about chocolate raisins?
Oh yeah,
They're really nice, aren't they?
I grew up on chocolate raisins. They were like my mum's favourite, so we were just brought up on them. They're so good.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you guys. Yeah, we hope we can maybe snuggle in for a late one and talk about some stuff which we left last week's podcast saying that we were gonna do a bit of an agony aunt session for these next couple of podcasts where people can write in, people can message in on social media, and
imagine receiving an actual letter. Like, that'd be so cool.
It's horrible that the only letters I get these days are just not nice.
I know.
I mean, not nice. It's
hate mail.
It's like tax. It's just like tax and car and payments, or
back in the day when hate mail was like trolling because the internet wasn't there. If you really had an issue with someone, you had to actually
write them a letter.
Sit down, write them a letter, send it to them, wait for them to get it, and then you wouldn't even know about their response until they wrote you back, if they did write you back.
Yeah.
Imagine just open it, it's just like lame. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Love your pajama bottoms, by the way, Maggie.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, I just ate so much food and need something comfy around the old waist.
They look very comfy.
Super comfy.
Yeah.
It's a warm night, so it's nice to be comfy on the bottom, but then nice and flowy and and spacey. How are you in jeans?
I've gone for the most neutral outfit you've ever seen.
We look like night and day right now.
It's like 10 o'clock at night and I'm wearing jeans and a black top.
Get your jammies on.
Well, I don't really have any.
I know all the pajama bottoms are in the wash apart from these ones.
I know, and I couldn't just wear. I wanted to just wear my boxers, but that's not a good idea.
It's a bit risky, isn't it?
My boxers are very loose.
They're super loose.
Not that anyone wants to hear about my my kind of boxers that I wear, but they're super loose. I think they're like extra large, and I just wear them because it's nice to have something covering. But
yeah, I know what you mean.
I've never been a fan of having tight things on my for underwear.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's just me. But yeah, so we this is going to be a bit of a low key agony aunt session, right? Where we're going to talk about some, maybe we should use that question as just a diving board, and then we can just dive off.
Yeah, I like that. Someone's asking for a bit of advice.
You'll have to talk for a minute because I'm just going to eat some of this Eccles cake.
So yeah, we put out an anonymous sort of
tip.
We put out an anonymous tip. And we thought we'd just ask if anyone had any advice or dilemmas or thoughts and questions and stuff, and we got a few messages, and
always appreciate them.
Always appreciated, which is really nice, and it feels nice to actually feel like this is in response to something. But yeah, one of the things that we got asked was what is more important, looks or personality? And I'm assuming that means in a romantic partner, like what are people looking for? Maybe what are men looking more for? What are women more interested in? We could talk about that.
Definitely.
We could talk about the pros and cons of having both or having one more so than the other.
Which one do I have more of?
That's such a good question.
Yeah. Am I more of a looker, or is it more what's on the inside with me that shines through than my looks?
I don't know, because to me it's like I love everything about you, so for me it's like an unanswerable question, because I think because I know you so well, I think you have the most amazing personality, and just what makes you you is just the like top tier stuff. But then obviously when we first met, there's so much like before I even knew you, there's instant attraction there of the way you look, and then that's grown over time. Like you've matured into you've grown from like a boy to a man, and me from a girl to a woman. So there's been like an added thing there of like how I see you and how you look to me has changed, and it's like gotten better. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's so nice.
Yeah. What about you?
You're a looker.
You guys setting you up for that.
I know, yeah, because you feel it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so funny.
Yeah, you've got looker written all over you, Maggie.
Yeah.
No, yeah, well, it's.
Don't you think it's a bit of a backhanded question? Because it's almost like saying to someone, is it more my looks or my personality? I feel like if you answer it's more your looks, it's kind of a backhanded compliment, because it's basically like saying like, oh, so you know all this that you didn't get a say in?
Yeah. I'm here for that.
I'm here for that. None of this, like, no matter whatever you've had, even if you've had like no work done or plastic surgery, it's just the way you are.
Yeah.
It's always like kind of, you can't help it.
Yeah.
And then it's like the idea of choosing that over what someone is on the inside and how they treat people, how they look at themselves, how they view the world.
Yeah.
The idea of all of that being second to all this stuff that is just like.
What would it mean though if someone said, I'm so in love with their personality and who they are as a person, but the physical, but then it's like
physically disabled.
But then it's like I find them physically, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, what would you say to that? Or if you were like, well, I don't have any physical attraction to the person.
Yeah.
It's purely from a personality point of view. Do you think that is sustainable?
Well, isn't that more like a friend? Like,
yeah,
you can have a friend in your life and you're just like, you love them, you have an actual love for them. Like, there's a bond there. There's a deep level of care.
Bond.
James Bond. There's a deep level of care. There's appreciation. There's respect. There's everything. But you don't have an attraction to them because they're just your friend. You know what I mean? Like, you can think they are beautiful, like inside and out. And you might even think that they're a super attractive person, just generally speaking. But you might just not be attracted to them, and then that's like totally fine because they're just your friend.
Yeah.
But then if you meet someone and you're looking for a partner, and then they sort of tick all the boxes of what you look for in a partner, but you just don't fancy them, then I don't know. I don't know whether that can grow over time or whether it needs to be instant.
Yeah, I mean, because there's got to be a flame. There's got to be that fire.
Do you think there does? There does need to be that.
I think there absolutely has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like, not that. That's just me. Like, whatever, some people will have, their own unique situations, and that's fine. But I feel as if it was like, if someone was asking me advice for this, I'd be like, yeah, you've got to have you need that passion, you need that flame,
Yeah.
and if anything, I would say it's like you got to have it like where it's 100% both ways, where it's like you are. I mean, because it's like, okay, so let's say that you're 100% attracted to someone's looks, which is fine. That's fine, and especially if you're a bit younger, that's fine too. But let's say you're 100% attracted to someone's looks, and there's a lot of lust that comes into it, and it's like that sometimes a bit of that, not necessarily lust, but that fire, that passion, that's great. If there was no personality thing whatsoever, you'd know straight away that that's not sustainable and that it's not going to last.
Yeah. Do you think so? It's vice versa.
And it's vice versa, isn't it? It's like you need one for the other.
Yeah.
And I feel like for people that would be like, well, like, you know, I find them kind of attractive and I kind of enjoy their hanging out.
Yeah.
It's like with us, it's like there's no one else I'd rather hang out with than you. And that's great because it's like, well, that's kind of how it should be. That's like, you know, you want to, I you know, I love spending my time with you. But then it's very important, I think, to feel desired and to feel as if that, like, well, and I guess that goes into, like, then also the idea of, like, maintaining yourself for a partner. It's like, you know, you maintain yourself for you. That's number one. But then I feel like the next thing should be, like, well, it's also the maintenance for my partner because, you know, they've got to look at me all day. And
do you think it's a thing of, like, you get with someone and maybe it's a thing of, like, I mean, I bet this is super common and you know, I it makes total sense, but if you're dating, if you're out and about looking for someone, you're probably going to be more in tune with how you look and how you appear and stuff, so you might be, you know, making sure you're looking good, your outfits, your hair, because you want to be always ready.
Sure, yeah.
Especially if you go in to, like, the club or you go in, like, to, like, I don't know, a bookshop or something. You're like, oh, I could meet a cutie today. I want to look real cute.
Yeah.
The hair, everything, you know, you're going to be, like, probably going to be just more in tune with how you look and how you come across. But then equally in turn, you're probably going to be more in tune of how you're coming across, like, what vibe of personality you're putting across and stuff like that to be the best.
True.
It's like being the best version of yourself in one thing to try and meet someone, and then you meet them and they might be doing the same thing.
Well, they probably will be.
They probably will be.
And they'll probably putting up a bit of a front, bit of a, you know, that they're an affectation of themselves, you know. And
then you meet and then, you know, you're dating for a while and then you're together, you know, and you have years together and stuff, and then it'd be weird where, like, one of them just totally lets all that go as if the facade completely drops. Like, that must be quite scary for couples when they thought that they were in a relationship with one person and then a couple of years down the line, this person not only totally changes, as in they stop, like, caring about what they look like. They're not, you know, keeping themselves looking all, like,
they're not keeping that fire as well. Like, they're not, like, I think a big thing, it's like, I think there's a thing of, like, hey, let's, you know, like the what's the word? Spontaneous. What's the word?
Spontaneity.
That's it. Spontaneity of being like, hey, like, you know, like, we're going on a date tonight in the same way that you would when you first met. Or so it's like, hey, you know, we're going out for dinner tonight. Put something nice on. I'm taking you out. Or, like, do you want to go and do this? Like, it's a surprise. Or the same thing as, like, on an intimate level where it's like you're keeping, you know, you're not going weeks and weeks without any intimate time one-on-one. Those things are, like, they take constant maintenance. You know, you have to keep doing them. You can't just forget about it and be like, well, we won't have personal time this week. We won't have one-on-one time this week because other things got in the way. Or I'm not being intimate with my partner this week because I didn't feel. I think that's a really interesting concept, and I feel like the idea of saying, like, I don't feel both ways. Like, you know, man to woman, woman to man, man to man, woman to woman. Like,
all of them.
Yeah. It's like, if you said, no, I don't really feel, if you had one partner that was like, I'm you know, I have all this desire for you, and the other person's like, you know, I just don't really feel it. I just, you know, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not feeling it. I think that is the same thing as, like, put your shoes on. We're going out, and I'm taking it, and it's like, no, I don't really, not really feeling it. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Or even worse, like, it's like, when was the last time you took me out? When was the last time you just surprised me and did something nice for me? All those things are so entwined and important, aren't they? Easy to, you know, let go if you're not paying attention to it. But I think the thing that always helps is, like, well, if you didn't have the attraction or the personality, you didn't like the personality to begin with, well, you're not going to want to spend any time with them. You're not going to want to be intimate with them. You know, you're basically going to coexist. You know?
You just become, like, roommates sort of thing.
Or it becomes a thing of sort of convenience, or, like, you know,
familiarity.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like, you're looking for a partner, you're looking to date, and you meet someone
Hey.
and they are just exquisite.
Wow.
They are.
You're a stunner.
They're stunning. They are right up your street. They're right down your alley.
Is she your twin?
Cutie. They're right down your alley.
Hey.
They seem to tick every physical box that you have on your list.
Woman, you're smoking.
They're smoking.
You're smoking.
And then you have a conversation with them.
Hey, how's it going?
And they are just the most, like, blasé. This is the same if you meet a woman or a man or anyone. And, you know, you look at them and you just think, like, bloody hell. Like, you can't be real. That can't be real. That can't be allowed.
Surely that doesn't exist though, right? Surely
what,
that's
people
like...
that are, like, great, like, unbelievably good looking and stuff?
I feel as if that... No, I don't know. I feel as if that just wouldn't... I feel like you'd know within a second.
What do you mean?
If you like, it's like if when we met, I saw you and I was like, wow, perfect 10.
Yeah.
Just got it all.
Yeah.
And then it was, within a couple of seconds, it's like, yeah, we're.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. You didn't let me finish my.
Oh, I thought
predicament.
you. Oh,
No.
sorry, I thought you did.
You meet them.
Yeah.
You have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But they're just the most like blah person ever.
Yeah.
Like pretty instantly. There's just like there's no chat. There's no like charisma. They're not showing any intrigue of like talking to you or.
Is that because of who they are, or is that because they don't find me attractive?
It could be a bit of both. Well then either way, yeah. Either they've immediately found you not attractive, so now they're not even gonna bother having a conversation with you.
Okay.
Or they do find you attractive. They might want to like see you and stuff, but
Right.
that's just who they are as a person. They're so blah. They're kind of boring. They're kind of dull.
Oh yeah.
They're just like not. It's almost like there's nothing going on back there, sort of thing. Like, do you think that then, like, diminishes their physicality and you don't find them as attractive anymore?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel as if that anyone that would disagree with that is purely just in it for the sex or for the
Yeah.
I can't think of a. But you'd have to ask yourself. It's like what would you foresee in that? Where was like isn't the whole
where would that go?
Yeah, isn't part of the whole fun of the intimate part of the relationship the fact that it's like
Another person
and it's this person desires you and they want to sort of like show up for you and they want to they want to be there mentally, like that's kind of definitely. I mean, do you think that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What if I'd have been so boring? What if you'd have seen me and you were like, hey, this guy's a catch, and then you say like, oh, so you're in a band, and I go like, yeah, and then you're like, oh, so what kind of music do you play? And I'm like, rock and roll.
Yeah.
What happens then? Would you have pursued that?
Maybe I'd have thought you were just a bit shy. But I just mean like if you'd have gone, so you meet me. Go on.
Hey.
Hi.
Sorry to hear about that you pickpocketed. That's really sucks.
Oh my god, I know. Like, so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. Can I get you a cup of coffee? I think.
What?
Can I get you a cup of coffee?
Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine someone being like that. Like, they've just got no like personality. They're just like, like as if like nothing is going on.
I think if I'd met someone like that, I think I would have thrown myself off the train to try and like I'd wake up from this nightmare that I was in. What do you think of? Here's an interesting one.
Go on.
The idea of like what we were talking about before about the idea of playing a version of yourself, playing up to a thing. So let's say you're someone who. This is a much deeper, bigger question. Maybe I need a few seconds just to set some context. Let's say you kind of, part of your personality, you're a bit younger. When we're younger, we have parts of ourselves that we're in tune with and we sort of make that our personalities. You might like reading some books. You might not be an actual, like people that are reading Infinite Jest for the fun of it. You might not be a reader like that. You might be let's say a superficial reader. You got a few books under your belt. You like reading. It's it's cool.
Yeah.
Would you I don't know. Are you being honest with yourself about how much you actually love it, or is it just a part of your personality that you've blown up?
Yeah.
Right. you go to a bookshop, you meet someone who's also in there who's just the same as you. Maybe they're not a big reader, but they kind of read a little bit. They're kind of inflating their that side of their personality, and they're sort of leading with their ego a little bit. Is that a good way to meet somebody? Keeping in mind that when we met at 17, 18, there would have definitely been things that we were doing that were pushing a part of our personality that was to be like, hey, I'm this. For example, I play guitar. I'm in a band. I'm cool. And you like walking around with your fur coat.
I was super cool.
Oh, you were super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to get at?
I know what you mean. Yeah, like it's like trying to. Yeah, it's trying to put on this like. Yeah, it's maybe trying to, but then again, like, is everyone, when people say like just be yourself, it's like, okay, yeah, but we had this conversation actually a couple of weeks ago when Caitlin was round, and it was that idea of when you hang out with someone you can just be yourself. But there's also a sense of, well, you're meeting someone for the first time, you might want to be a bit more open than usual. You might want to ask a few more questions than you would normally if you're hanging out with someone all the time.
Sure, yeah.
You might want to try and, I don't know, like, and in the same way, like, yeah, if you're meeting someone and you're like, it depends what your reasons are. If you're young and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I'm in a band, so cool. I'm playing up to this like stereotype a bit. It's becoming a bit of my personality. It's who I'm seen as. It's very like exterior.
Sure.
And then you meet someone and then they're like, oh, like so cool, you're in a band, like, oh, I do music as well or something like that, when you might not really, but you might be playing up to it a bit to just do that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything like sinister about that, but I think, and even if you meet someone, it's like when people say like, oh, like when we met and they were so into like old films, so I like pretended I was into all these old films just to talk to them and just to hang out with them, and we'd go to the cinema and I'd like pretend I'd seen it and things like that. Yeah. There's things like that I'm like, yeah, okay, it's not sinister.
Do you think though that there is a sort of cut-off when we're talking about age? Because like, say if you're a 17, 18-year-old pulling those kind of things, I say, fine. You're young, you're new to the whole thing. It's innocent. Yeah, go and do that. Play up to that. And in our case, it was like, you grow with each other and you get to know each other, and it's like, okay, like we, that's truthful. That's not all of us. There's a part of us that is like that. Let's say now you're 35 though, and you're a 35-year-old guy in a bookshop that's maybe, really hammering home this point that it's like, I love books and books are my life, and then you meet a 30-something-year-old woman, and maybe it's the same thing, and maybe they're the same, or maybe they have the same thing. It's all, is it like, is there a danger there? Because it's like,
maybe as you get older, because you'd hope that you're a little bit more well-rounded and self-aware,
right, okay. That maybe you've not let go, or you've not really rounded yourself.
Yeah, you're still using these things as like crutches, to like meet people, or to like immediately have things. It's almost like you're so worried that you've actually got nothing to offer, that you're using these things to like latch onto, and then like it's like overkill,
Yeah, and the only reason I say that is because that's not like, I'm not trying to like, if people, I imagine that happens with people, and they maybe get cemented into that realm of like, this is who I am, this is my thing. I think I bring that up because I think it's really important to, as quickly as you can sort of lose that side of yourself that takes yourself seriously, and that's like, well, I'm, this is my personality, and I'm looking for someone that is like that, and I'm, I hold myself, I am this person, and therefore I'm looking for someone that reflects that. You probably you run the risk of drastically missing out on a relationship that could be great because you're different, or because you're, you might be closed off because, it's like, well, do you read? It's like, no, I'm not a big reader. It's like, well, or that kind of thing.
That, like, cross that off.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, we've got nothing in common. It's like, well, that, and I know that that's probably a minority, but I just think that maybe that's something to that'd be something that if I was someone, I'd be trying to look out for that.
Yeah.
I'd trying to be as honest with myself and authentic as possible.
Yeah.
Even if it meant that it's like, well, initially I'm not really meeting people, but it's like, well, that's fine.
No, yeah, that's so true. Maybe that's something that we've really like skipped over, never really having to do that whole thing where you meet someone and you like them a lot, like you like everything about them, and they might be like really into doing sports and you might not be a sporty person, but you're like, oh, I just want to hang around with, I want to be with this person. Like, so, you know, I'm gonna, I don't know, not like pretend that I'm into sports, but like, I don't know, maybe, yeah, it's a tough one. It just depends on the thing of like, well, if they're really sporty and that's who they are, and maybe that transpires into other things of their life and that's just not you. Maybe you like the idea of them more than you actually like them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like when people meet someone and they'll cherry pick all the bits they like and then totally disregard the rest of it and stuff.
Or they'll turn a blind eye to that stuff and be like, you know, which can be a shame, because I do think that there comes a time. Well, again, you know, I say all this because it's very specific to you and I can only comment on that, and I can only comment on, you know, we've been together for nearly 11 years now. I feel like we're incredibly solid, so I can only, everything I say is a testament to that, getting to that place. But I think there's a danger of being like, well, look, like, if I was like, well, I'm going to start, we had similar things, didn't we? Where it's been like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to get into this place. And then it'd be like, well, do you want to come to the gym? And you're like, no, well, why would I do that? I can, I'm not trying to, this is bad, because it's like, this is me, this is setting something up where I've said something and then but you've done this, and I'll do an example so it's even, where I was like, let's go to the gym. You're like, no, I've got a gym here. Why would I go to the gym? I don't need that. Like, there's no time. Gym costs money. And then it's like, well, we're going to kind of drift then, you know, into a realm where I'm doing this thing and you're not. And that can be dangerous, because you want to make sure that you're synced and that you're in sync with each other. Yeah. In the same way that you've turned to me loads of times and said, like, you know, look at your nutrition. What are you eating right now? And you've pulled me up on things where I've been so sort of naive and been like, no, like I'm fine. Like, I'm eating this because it's cool. And
But don't you think though, people can be in perfectly good, happy relationships and they are different, like, because, you know, if I hadn't have like joined the gym when you did, you know, it's like, like, what would
that look like now?
Yeah.
Though? What if you?
But that's almost like if I was like, oh, Mike, I am so into poker right now. I'm like, I was really into. That's why it came to mind.
And I love that. I loved.
No, but I'm like, I'm going to start to these. I'm going to start and going. I'm going to start going.
Stroke. No, the signs.
Stroke. I'm going to start going to these poker clubs, these amateur poker nights.
Wow, amazing.
And I really want you to come with me. And then there's these contests, and then it kind of, you know, it doesn't take over your life, but it's a big thing.
Well, that sounds more like it's, you know, you're trying to pursue that for a career, or like, because, you know, there's contests and.
Well, no, not only amateur, but it's like I wouldn't expect you to do all of that with me, because it'd be something that I do.
No, hang on a minute. I mean, if you're saying, the fact that you would even say to me, I want you there, is great. Like,
well, no,
how
okay,
that, like, that's amazing.
What if I was just like, do you want to like come and get on this poker stuff with me?
As in, do I want to play?
Yeah, like, you want to play? Do you want to get into it?
Well, no, because there's more nuance in that, isn't it? That's to do with, like, are we talking about gambling? Are you gambling now?
Yes.
Well, then that's something we need to talk about. I'd come to one and see how you did, and then be like,
yeah, no, that's true. Okay,
I feel like
that's a bad example. I just mean of this thing of like, when you were like, oh, you know, if you don't come to the gym, like, we're gonna drift.
No, but like, but I think I don't mean like we're gonna drift in a way where it's like, you know, in a twilight. Oh, you know, like, you know, our relationship became darker and we parted and the twilight. I don't know. I don't know why I used twilight. I think I was just trying to be like, you know, set it up as this big dramatic, you know, Bella.
Yeah.
But no, what I mean is, like, if I go, let's say 2 years go by and I'm going to the gym and I'm being healthy and my life's changing, and you're not, and you're still where you were
Mm.
when you're getting up at 5, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you're not, we're gonna be vastly different, and
Yeah.
loads of tiny things
Yeah. No,
that
that's so
connect us are gonna
true.
be different, and there's gonna be tension
Yeah.
and pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
I'm
that's
not
so
saying
true.
that couples should mimic each other.
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say
saying
yeah,
that they
because
should.
it's a fine line, isn't it? Because I totally agree. If I wasn't, because some things like run deeper, don't they? Like go in the gym
Yeah.
and like
Would it not be the same? Sorry, I cut
yeah,
off.
no, yeah, being active, and then that having like a domino effect really on like how you look after yourself and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Like it's weird how it is just like you almost do need to grow and change together in that
Right.
way. Because if you don't, like, and then it's like, oh, well, then we just kind of become on different pages and stuff, and then, it's tough.
Like, wouldn't it be the same for you? Like, let's say if we flip it, and if you'd have a couple of years back, if you'd have made this big decision to be like, look, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna go and do my own thing, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna start getting into my nutrition, and then let's say you do that for 6 months, and that whole time, I'm waking up at 11 at night, I'm putting on loads of weight, which at one point I was as well. Like, I'm being very unhealthy. I'm letting a lot of my vices sort of like run me. And it's, again, it's like, yeah, I'm gaining weight. I look terrible. The any attitude that I've got towards you, it's just like, I don't get what you're doing. Like, I have to go and work
Yeah.
this shitty job while you get to have this life that, it's like, wouldn't that affect
I mean,
how you
yeah,
look at me?
like, maybe, yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I'd still love you and I'd still, like, care for you.
Well,
But
you
I'd
say
can't,
that after like a year, but
yeah, but I'd
what
be
about
like,
5 years or 10
yeah,
years?
no, that's so true.
Do you think we'd still be with each other if one person had have gone on this path and the other person would have stayed where they were? It's an interesting one. It's and I'm not saying that again. Like, yeah, that's not to say that
He's gonna leave me.
oh sweet, yeah. I can't imagine what it would take for me to leave you.
What if I was like,
Here we go.
what if I was like, right, Mike, I'm done with this gym stuff. I'm done with it. I can't be bothered going to the gym anymore. It sucks.
I'm just trying to. I'm just picturing it. I'm just being vivid about it.
But that's what I mean. It's like I said, like it goes deeper than that.
It
Because
does
there'd
go
be
deeper.
something very wrong if
There
I
would
was
be.
saying that.
And
But what if
isn't
I
that
did
great
just have
though?
yeah.
Because I feel as if I feel as another great thing is like, I feel like you and I can pick up. The other day we went to the gym. I instantly knew that you were in your own head about all that stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's for our what? That's for our Patreon channel.
Yeah, Patreon only.
No, we don't have a Patreon. All that stuff we were talking about, and it was, I could feel it coming off you in loads of little ways, and I'm not sure that maybe a few years ago I'd have been able to have picked up on that, because I feel as if that through that growth and that
so true.
breaking down of self, you become so in tune with that other person where little things like that you are like, hey, what's going on? I can feel it.
Yeah, no, totally.
Maybe.
It's just a funny thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, obviously, things would be different if I like had an accident or got an illness or something and that was stopping me going to the gym. You wouldn't be like, Meg, oh, you lazy ass. Imagine.
I'm also I'm from London now, and I'm Hugh Grant from About a Boy.
Yeah, Marcus, you look really cool. But yeah, like, what if okay, maybe not poker. And this isn't me like trying to challenge you as if to like
it's
say
good.
that. I don't think I do.
There'll be people out
it's
there.
It's weird because I completely agree with everything you're saying, but I'm still trying to play devil's advocate.
No, it's good. It's good.
Just like a thing of like, if I was like, Mike, I'm really into I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's like what if I got really into something that was like really like hippy dippy? What if I was like, Mike, I've been really getting into this like I don't know, something like crystal healing or
Okay.
you know, spells, like candles for spells,
Okay.
and
Okay.
like go into the woods and like, you know, doing woodsy stuff.
What kind of woodsy stuff?
Just like, you know, being all barefoot and being all like, I don't know, like something like that, right?
Sounds kind of cool.
And then I was like, yeah, it's like really good for my like mental health, my well-being. There's all
Sure.
this amazing
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then like that's like where my sort of path is going.
Okay.
And I was like, you should come. And then you're like, what do you say and do to that?
Where am I coming?
To all the woods and you're doing spells and stuff.
It's just you there. You've not got like a group.
Yeah, there's a big group.
Oh, there's a big group of people.
Yeah, big group.
At this point, okay, so at this point you
Sounds like I'm joining a cult.
yeah.
So what I'm asking you is, do you leave me because I'm in this cult now, or do you just join in the cult with me because we stay together no matter what?
I feel like in that situation, we've gone over a few drastic checkpoints there that I've neglected. Where it's like you've met these people and I don't know about them, and you've already had multiple meetings.
Appeared.
Yeah, it's like we're in the woods, and it's like I feel as if I'd have been on it the minute you said, I've got this crystal that's making me feel better. I think I'd have been on that. And I feel like what I feel like would happen is I'd be like, okay, let's talk about that. Where do you think that's coming from? And if you were like, I'm
deadly serious about it as well.
Okay, well, I'd be like, well, that's something that we can explore, because if it seems important to you, then it seems, and some of that seems cool, like the idea of going out to a woods and being barefoot and being connected with, and if there was people there that you'd met and you were like, and I met them and I was like, yeah, these people seem like they do have a good grasp on reality.
Yeah.
I think that would be the big thing. If we got there and people were honestly saying things like, Mike, we're going to cure your IBS by, shoving a crystal up your ass, I'd be like, well, let's talk about this. But if you were like, baby, do it, it's gonna work, then, I think there'd be a fairly moderate intervention, right? Where it's like, we've got to sit and talk about this, honey, and let's, and
probably feel like watching Midsommar now as well.
Midsommar.
Do you remember when we watched that together? We were on a bad, really bad sleep schedule.
I do. And do you remember what we ate that night? Wait. Say, because remember, don't say it. We stayed up all night, and it was about 5 a.m. that we went off to sleep.
Yeah.
And we ate. We were really hungry.
Wait, what?
And that night, right before we went to bed, we made something.
No, because we were sleeping during the day.
Yeah.
And at this time, we'd woke up probably 5 or 6 in the evening.
Yeah.
Afternoon, evening. We were awake all night, and then it got to 6, 7 in the morning, and we were planning to stay awake all day.
Yeah.
To break the cycle of us sleeping all day and being awake all night.
But we had something to eat while we were watching that. While we were watching it, do you remember?
Because it was early in the morning. It was 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Did we order something?
No. Something we would never eat now in a million years, but it takes minutes to cook.
I know what it was.
Yeah,
3, 2, 1.
Noodles. Yeah.
We used to be obsessed
with garlic bread. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember watching Return to Oz? And we had those noodles that were really spicy, and we had garlic bread in them.
Oh, no, I don't remember.
Do you remember that? No.
Was that another AM watch?
Yes. Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were obsessed with the noodles, like the ramen that you get in the dried packets with the little. You get beef, chicken, spicy little sachets, and then little sachets of weird little spring onions and things like that in it as well.
Yeah.
They were amazing though.
Well,
I haven't had them in years, but I mean, there must have been no nutritional value in them.
I think not, and I think they were quite well. It was ultra processed.
It was ultra processed.
Yeah, and the spicy stuff was spicy.
Yeah, I loved it though. I used to love mixing the chicken and the spicy ones.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were great, and they were 30p.
Yeah.
Remember we'd go Tesco and buy 20, 30 packs of it.
I know. How did we ever get into that place where we were going to bed at 6, 7 in the morning? What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, Warzone was a big one. We'd be up most nights playing Warzone and stuff till early hours.
Well, it was lockdown, really.
And it was lockdown,
I think that was the thing that kicked that off, because we only would hang out through Warzone.
That was a great time, though. So much fun.
We were, but you think back to it, it's it was fun for the element of all your friends are online playing this silly video game. The world has stopped. You can't actually go out and do anything. So it's not, that there was an element of fun to that. But then when you break it down, it's like what was actually going on. The whole sleeping routines, eating.
It was really bad.
It was pretty bad. Like that, and now it's like, at that time we used to facilitate that for each other.
Yeah,
do you know
we
what I mean?
would.
Whereas now it's like we just.
Do you remember? Go on, Sarah.
I was just gonna say, can you imagine if you said, "I'm going to bed now," and I was like, "I'm going to stay up for a bit," and you woke up like in the middle of the night to use the toilet, and I'm screaming my head off on Warzone, like with the dominoes.
Oh my God, I'd be
4 a.m.
I'd be worried that like you'd had a mental breakdown or something. Do you remember when we were like, all right, we're gonna stay up all night, because we had this like delusion that we were gonna stay up all night and then stay awake all day to just totally break the cycle in one day.
Yeah.
And it was the first day we'd seen sunlight in weeks. I'm not even over exaggerating because of how bad our sleeping patterns were.
Yeah.
And during the day, I mean, not just early hours of the morning. And then it was like 9 a.m. or something, and we were like, oh, we're gonna drive to Sefton and just do like a long walk to like really get the sun in our eyes. And it would have been like 8 or 9.
We had
the car.
Seriously?
Yeah, we had the car, and we got about halfway there and we got a flat tire. Do you remember?
Was that day? I do remember that. That
was that day, yeah. So we got a flat tire on the way, and it's like a 10-minute drive. We got a flat tire on the way. Your dad came. I went and got us coffees and came back with the coffees.
Yeah.
And then
I do remember that.
Yeah.
And then the AA came out and
the
changed the tire.
came out and sorted it for us.
Yeah, that was that was sort of like one of those days, wasn't it? It was like, why even? Because then we were waiting for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
To get the tire done, which was.
We were like, we tried.
Yeah. But it's interesting just when you think about it, isn't it? It's like that was it's. But with that said, we did do that for each other. We were in a place where we almost fed into the thing of like, it's late, like let's play Warzone and get a Domino's and let's continue this habit. Let's not go to bed now. Let's stay up all night. Let's be on our phone. Let's not go out.
Yeah.
We never at one point either of us said to each other, "This has got to stop."
I think
only when it got to a point where it was like,
because I know it used to really get me down. It's
a big thing for you.
I've seen old journal entries and stuff from me being like writing things like I got up at 3 today. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for me that's a big deal. I've been sleeping so badly, like sleeping all day. It's really getting me down. It's making me feel like I'm not in control, and it's really, really heavy. And it was a weird time, and I can't imagine what our lives would look like if we slipped back into that. But again, like, I don't think we would slip back into that because we have these checks now where it's like,
so many things before that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But there's an interesting thing there, isn't it, about trying to find a partner? Because you might there might be things in a relationship where you're like, it must be tough when you've got one party in the relationship that's trying to pull the other person up and be like, you're better than this, like this is better, and I deserve better, and you deserve better than this, you can do better, and you're not, and you're making me suffer, and maybe there's children involved. Well,
that's always so sad, isn't it? But that's like the cruelest thing of mental health, isn't it? It's like you will think that your partner's better off without you, and instead of trying to like work on things to get it better, it's easier to just be like, I'm not. You deserve way better and stuff. It's really sad.
Yeah. It's
Sorry,
tough.
That was dull.
No, but it's real, isn't it? Because there might be like you have to be rounded enough to be, if you care about this person and you got into a relationship with this person because of the right reasons, because you truly felt attracted to them on a deeper level and through on a surface level. If you've got someone like that that's like, I'm trying to look out for you, and you might not want to hear what I'm saying, you might not agree with it, you might think that, I don't know, like these habits that you've made which are unhealthy, you're locked in and you might want to just do them, but you know, if you can't have that ability to step out and be like, yeah, no, I need to do better here. Not just, if not for me, for this person
exactly,
that's
not
sharing
even,
my life.
not even for me, but it's like, you know, you've got a partner here. It's like you're not just you anymore. It's like you are you and your partner. Like you have to move through these things together, and then when you have kids, it's not just about you anymore. It's not about you and your partner anymore. It's about the kids, and that's like a tough thing to grapple with. But again, I think when you've got the right person, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like you do see things as like a united front and a team, and that support is like, I was saying this the other day, like, you know, with anything in life that feels a bit difficult with a small d, or change and stuff like that, it's like having you there like makes all of that feel not scary and not big,
and you would want that. You wouldn't like, you know, it wouldn't be the idea of you being like, you know, oh, wouldn't tell my partner this because it would freak them out, or it just make things worse, or they try and help and it would just you got to treat it, it's got to be everything 50-50. What are three things that, if you were a single woman of 28, or if you here's one, I'm gone, it's gone, so like I'm just ceased to be. Yeah, I know, it's a tragedy. And then, you know, you now have to find, you're looking for a partner.
No, I hate this game.
All right, I never existed, but you're the woman that you are now.
Okay, but you've never existed.
I've never existed. Yeah. No, I did exist. We're in the Matrix, and they've taken me out of it and wiped your mind, but you have all of the things that you are now.
Okay.
But it's just as if that.
Yeah.
And it's like you go through life and
The Matrix. That's what you should watch.
The Matrix.
Soon.
Yeah, love it.
That's a great sci-fi.
Brilliant film. Yeah.
Have you seen the other ones?
Yeah.
Are they any good?
They are not as, in my opinion, they're not as good as the first one.
Is one of them called The Matrix Fully Loaded, or am I making that up?
I think the Matrix Reloaded, the Matrix
Reloaded. That's it.
No, there might be. I think one might be fully loaded.
Like
a cheese pizza. Yeah. The Matrix stuffed crust. So, what are three things that you?
Me and
and now it's like, you know, you're out there.
Okay.
What are three things that you're looking for in a partner that you would be like, these have to be in check?
I think you have to have the same sense of humour.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I think, like, nothing can ever be bad if you can just make each other laugh.
That's a good one.
And if you see funny in the same things and be able to like tickle each other's funny bone, you know what I mean? It's pouring down.
It's raining.
I knew it.
Nice. I hope the mics picked that up.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
ASMR.
Oh, that's lovely.
Listen to the rain fall.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, sense of humour. Because some people you can meet, and even this on a friend level, if I meet someone as a friend and we just have a similar sense of humour and we're like laughing, we're finding everything hilarious, that is so bonding and so lovely.
Definitely, yeah, it's great.
Whereas someone can be perfectly nice, but if you just don't find things funny together, you don't find them funny, it's not going to last.
Okay.
So yeah, sense of humour.
That's a good one.
Oh shit. I think how they treat people, regardless of what they could gain from them. So you should treat the person who makes your coffee the same. You should treat them the same as, like, you know, the bus man. Just, you know what I mean? Like, not...
There's humility.
There's humility, yeah. And it's not like you know how people change the way they act depending on who the person is. Like, if you met someone and they were, I don't know, famous, or they had some kind of leverage or status, and you played up to that to, like, get something from them, but then you spoke to the waiter like shit. I think that is really disgusting. Yeah. I think you should treat everyone.
So being humble and humility.
Being humble and speaking to people in the way that everyone deserves to be spoken to, regardless of who they are and what they could possibly ever have to, like, give you and stuff, and just being kind in that way. And then a third thing, I'd say, I think if they were like, I don't know, if they always brought you up as well, like, they're always just wanting to encourage you and bring you up with things, and you know, they celebrate wins with you. Something's not great, they're like, it's okay, it's no biggie, you know. It's instead of being like, you know, I couldn't imagine, again, I'm just trying to think things that you do. I couldn't imagine me saying something and you going like, so, or something, or I'm like, oh, I was thinking of doing this, and you're like, nah, like, don't see that for you, or things like that, you know what I mean? Like, just being encouraging and supportive, and yeah, always just trying to want to bring you up and make you feel like you can do these things. And I don't know, yeah, I don't know how to describe that better, but
that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your 3 things to round off?
What are my 3 things to look for? That's a tricky one. Feel as if a big one is that like I find that like maybe it's not a test. I don't think that's the right word to say. It's like if you something I've noticed about myself is like if I am seeking a level of love or affection or I want that bond with you, and I'm like, well, I want that from you. I want to feel like I'm loved. I want to feel like I'm validated. I want to feel like I'm being heard and being supported.
Yeah.
The wrong thing to do is to sort of want that and expect that, and then expect that that's what you deserve. I think that's a downfall. I think what you need to do is you need to take all that you have and put it on the other person and make it about the other person.
I get you.
But then I think that where the trick is there, not trick, but where the test, if you like, is like if I do that and you don't reciprocate that, or you don't put in that same level of affection, love, respect, honesty to me, and there's a deficit and there's a noticeable deficit, then you know that you have an issue, or you know that you've got something that you need to work on, and you need to be honest. And
I get you.
I don't think that might not always be the case where it's like, yeah, like, you know, you're always in sync. I think that sometimes that becomes a thing where you have to talk to the person and say like, I feel as if that I want this thing from you, and I've known, because I'm self-aware enough, I've been showing that to you and you've not been showing that back to me.
Yeah, I get you.
And that needs to be, and then it's like, now I've said that to you, and now it's down to you to readdress that. And then it's seeing how that person responds. And I feel as if that you'd want that person, if they say that they love you and you mean everything to them, that instinctively then they should be able to match that thing and be like, yeah, you're right, something switches back on. I get it, you know, life is happening, and it's difficult to navigate that, to keep that balance all the time. It's difficult, you know, but you should quickly be able to get back to that thing, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a word for that, but I think that does hold. I think for me, that's been a really important thing, because there's nothing worse than feeling like I'm putting in.
Yeah,
I'm
that,
giving
like,
myself
level of reciprocation. Yeah.
That would be heartbreaking to think. It's horrible when you see 2 people that don't put any effort in with each other. That's sad.
Well, when it's 2 people not putting the effort in, that's like, well, that's what you 2 have grown accustomed to there. But you know what I mean? Can
you imagine? You know, and I feel like I have seen this from time to time. Can you imagine seeing someone that does put in effort and the other person just?
Yeah, that's sad.
I feel that's heartbreaking.
That's sad.
Like,
it's like the whole like we accept the love we think we deserve thing, you know, from Thingy. Like, I think that is so true though. Like, it's like with Jim and Pam at the minute on The Office. Like, they've got a very toxic relationship from the outset as friends anyway.
Right.
But even just the idea that Pam can't possibly envision herself letting herself be with someone who treats her so nicely like Jim does, who respects her, who listens to her, who cares for her, because maybe deep down she thinks she doesn't deserve it, so she accepts the love from Roy because that's what she thinks she deserves and no more. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I know what you mean. I see what you're saying.
Like, that's when you see couples and you think one of them puts in all the effort here and the other one just sort of rides along, you're a bit like,
Or
that's sad.
yeah, or the or, you know, it's that thing, or like, or love languages, or if you see someone where it's like, you know, you're like, you know, look at you, you know, like you're making an effort. I can pick up on it. We can pick up on it, and then it's like that their partner doesn't, or they do things to almost like backhand their, that, you know, that for me is heartbreaking. And I think then it's like, if I ever get the sense that that's happening with us, not to that level at all, but where I'm like, okay, there's definitely something slightly out of sync here.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Then I feel compelled to.
Yeah.
And I, you know, we I think we've gotten better at that as time's gone on.
For sure.
We try and have check-ins with each other, and that's really useful.
Have you got another two?
I love how you quickly, you know, sort of was like, that was like, yeah, you got any more? Like, you know, like, that wasn't me directing anything at you. I was just saying,
no, I didn't think so.
Two, I know that was a bit more long-winded. Two,
great ass.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I think the physical thing has to be there.
Yeah.
I think that for both, it's like there's nothing better. Like,
would you say a physical thing is in the top 3 though?
Well, you've not heard what. Well, I think my first one was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
My first one was all about the idea of taking, you know, giving this person as much as you can.
Yeah.
And seeing, and then what should happen in my mind is that they should reciprocate that.
Yeah.
And that's great, because that's like, if you make that person laugh and you go out your way to make them smile, and you make it all about them, they should then do that to you, and you should be like, that's a perfect balance.
Totally.
And that, I feel like that should work with all things. But yeah, I think well, honesty, that's a big one.
Nice,
you can't, you know, if you're not honest with yourself, that's where it starts, and then if you can't be honest with your partner, that's really rocky. But I think through that you will get conflict, because things will happen, and you'll say, hey, listen, we need to talk about this, we got to have it out. And then obviously, like that, but I feel you've said 3, which are kind of my 3 as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do another 3 that are kind of like, which makes 6 in total.
Yeah.
So the honesty is one, but I do feel strongly about the physical attraction thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I'm a guy, but I feel as if
that's okay. It's good because it goes back to the advice thing, like what is more important, looks or personality? And maybe out of the 6 things that you're looking for, maybe it's okay that one of them is about, you know,
well, I think one
being easy on the eye.
Easy on the eyes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but we covered personality. You covered, and you know, with the whole, we both covered that for sure. But I feel as if that, like, you need. For me, it's like you need it. You need that element of. If you don't feel like you're desired at all, or not enough, it's like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, there's an element of.
Or if you don't desire the person enough.
Yeah, because you just be like, well, you know, life is short. Life's really short when or it's long, and it's like you're going to be in a relationship with this person for a while. It's going to be really sad if the idea of you being like, not in a, and I don't mean in a sexually gratifying way where it's like, oh, well, I'm the guy, so anytime we have sex. Anytime I feel like I want sex, like she just has, we have sex, and and then she gives me a beer afterwards. Like, none of that. I just mean, like, that's toxic. But the idea of being like, well, we went through this relationship, and it's like, I'm never made to feel like I'm desired. That's an instant no. It's like, that's not going to work. It's just not going to, you have to maintain that. So I think that's a big one too. So there you have like 6 nice ones.
Nice.
If you had to say personality or looks. Personality.
Like what I said earlier.
You chose looks. I chose books.
That's it. You chose books. I chose looks. Me and Luke were saying it the other day. Yeah, because you could meet someone, they could be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But if you talk to them and there's just no connection there, and there's just nothing going on, or you just don't fit, it's like, if you're looking for just a physical thing, then maybe, but even so, how can you really have a deep, how can you have a good sex session with someone if there's just
Sex
no
session?
a good section? A good how can you if you're like just casually hooking up with people, like how good can that sex be if that person is just like there's nothing there's no connection there, you can't even really get into it because they're just like
also where
it's like
I don't really have any desire for you.
Yeah.
We're having sex right now.
You might desire them physically, but you won't desire them emotionally. Yeah, you know, exactly.
How can you let yourself go? And also, how can you if you're putting up a mask, or a pretense, that's not real either. So you're not gonna have a good time either.
Yeah.
You know,
personality all the way. And I think like the opposite of that, when you meet someone, if you're looking to like be with a partner and have a romance with someone, you could meet someone and you might not immediately think that they're like you're super attracted to them, or you might think, oh yeah, they're attractive, but they're not like drop dead gorgeous or anything. But then they say something, or they look at you in a certain way, or they make you laugh in a certain way, and suddenly they are so attractive. Do you know what I mean?
I don't.
No.
I don't know.
Oh,
no, I don't think I've ever experienced that.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess because it's like
maybe not physically attractive, but someone's confidence or the way that they carry themselves can like be like a thing of like, oh, like I can totally see that being a thing.
I think I found that with friendships.
Yeah.
Where you see someone and you think, I don't think we'd really get on, and then you start talking to them, and through a series of things that they say and do, you go, oh, yeah. Well, actually, you're.
But I do think people do become more attractive when they're like they've got this quality, or they're funny, or they're charismatic, or they're confident, or they're kind, or they're honest, or genuine.
Sure, yeah,
suddenly, they're so much more attractive.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever had that direct thing with on a like a level that's not a friendship.
Well, neither have I.
No, but I'm trying. But then I also can't picture it in a.
I can totally picture it.
Yeah.
Just in the same way I can picture seeing someone that's like stereotypically super attractive and stuff, and then them being just so blah or rude, and then me being like,
but again, I can't really see that because I feel as if I saw but I am quite, I do have a bit of a cynical streak in me, which I try not to let it out. Oh, but like,
give it away.
Just put you in a cage, lock the door. You're never coming out. But yeah, I feel as if that I have this. I think I mean this seriously now. Serious time. You know how superheroes have a superhuman ability?
Yeah.
I think I have a superhuman ability. I think I have a really...
Yes.
Yeah. It's the ability to be able to make a judgment like that.
Yeah.
On someone.
Yeah. Well, that's funny actually, because we got asked another question, we got asked if we're judgmental.
I'm the most judgmental person you'll meet. And you know what I can do? You know what? I have... Look at me, viewer. I have become so... In the past hour, I have become so comfortable with myself that I can admit this on this podcast. I know who I am. And I'm a nice guy. I'll try and go out my way to help people. I will always give someone the benefit of the doubt. I'm a nice guy. I know I'm a nice guy. Every single time I've walked into a room, I have this ability. It's like a spider sense. I'll hear someone say something from afar, or I'll see someone in the corner of my eye, and before anything has happened, I just know instantly.
Wow.
We're not. There's going to be something very funny or very like. I can't wait to tell someone about this person, or my skin's crawling. I need to get away from this person as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I honestly think someone would say that's an issue with me. That's not a super. But I honestly think every time I've done that, and I almost place a wager, poker, full story, full circle, that's going to happen. and I go into the situation, and you know me, I don't walk in and set people up. I don't set traps. I'm
never. You're so lovely to anyone.
I'm an open, here we are,
Yeah.
tables open. Every single time, that has never been trumped with me. I've never leant back and gone,
they really surprised me.
I need to change seriously what I'm doing, because now I'm not saying that these are all bad traits. I'm just saying that I will make a snap.
Yeah, and it's not saying that it's something wrong with them. It just means that it's something about them that is not in line with who you want to hang around with, or what you, how you're gonna get on with someone.
Exactly. Or I'll be like, I know for a fact we're gonna have an interchange, and I could probably word for word guess what you're gonna say or what you're gonna do.
Interesting.
And I know that sounds really, a bit psychopathic on my
bit woo woo.
But I can just even now I can feel it. We've been in situations where I've turned to you, and I can think of one situation where we've been in this situation, and I've bet you, I've said I bet you this person does this.
Interesting.
And we have an interchange, and they do it. It plays out.
You'll have to tell me what it was afterwards.
I could do it now. I'm not really
go on then.
We were in a bookshop.
Oh yeah.
And it was.
Oh,
no, okay.
Can't have that.
Okay. Oh well, okay. Why can't I have that?
That's like me being I'm in a restaurant and I just know this guy's gonna come over and ask me what I want to drink.
What?
Mike's on about this guy who
Hold on. Oh no. Hang on a minute. It's this guy that works at this branch. It's
there's a guy who works in a bookshop that we go to. Not naming anywhere.
Sometimes
it's
not it's not an exclusive bookshop.
We love going to those bookshops. And when we go to the till, he's usually read the book that Mike is purchasing. But he works in a bookshop.
Hang on a minute. Hold on a second.
That's
right.
Did you like my joke? They're going to a restaurant.
No, that was great.
I just know this guy's going to come over and ask me, do I want a Caesar salad?
That was really funny, honey. That was good. Yeah, that was great.
To me, I know that it's a little bit different, but to me that it's a bit of a reach to include that in this argument. But you are really good at that in general. You're really good at gauging people, and not in a wanky
weird
way.
And by the way, I just love what I loved more about that thing is that you were pissing yourself laughing at your face was proper you were like this telling the joke, which is so funny. I love that.
My joke about the weight.
Yeah, you were ahead in your head, but as it was coming out, you were laughing at the premise. That was great.
Yeah, you can't have that. It's a bit too he works in a bookshop. He obviously reads loads of books. He's gonna say stuff about what people are buying.
Hang on a second. Right, we're in a bookshop.
So funny.
Hang on a minute. If we're in a bookshop, right, and I'm minding my own business, and it's you and I, we're not familiar. There's a little. How you doing today? I'm good. How are you? Yeah, great. Now, I'm not saying that this was rude of the person or anything, but
no, it's not about that.
I remember the book that I put down. It was a very niche book that I still haven't read fully.
It was off the table, though. It wasn't off the shelf. So any books that are on the table.
No, it was in the. Oh, great! Now you've just.
Oh shit! Sorry. There's so many guys that work there.
Oh shit! I shouldn't have even said the Waterstones and Liverpool one. No. I hope the guy is listening, because then maybe he'll take some pointers.
There's nothing wrong with what he said though. It was just Mike was in the queue and he was like, I bet any second when we go to this queue, this guy is going to say that he's loved this book.
Yeah, because I was reading it, but it was, and the thing was, it was like an adaptation. It was like an anime, which I've never really got before, and it was the animated version of a novel by, I think it was a Japanese author that was it was just such a wild card.
Yeah.
It was such a wild card for me, and I was like, I think I'm going to take a risk here. I think I'm going to do this. And but it was, the thing was, it was I picked up the book, and I was almost the feeling of a bit of vulnerability of being this is a big book. I've never really read anime before, and I've only this Japanese author. This is crazy. I feel kind of out of my depth. So there's a bit of vulnerability on my end where I'm but this isn't, it's not like Wuthering Heights or whatever. And I'm now I'm approaching the till, and I can see this person behind the till, and there's already this energy that's bouncing, and it's bouncy, and it's okay, maybe this is more of a reflection on me. Maybe this is all a me thing. And I'm like, I just know that he's going to make a comment about the book. I know, I can feel it. Is that a bad thing? No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something that I don't want to make a thing out of. Maybe I just want to be like, here's the book.
Oh, come on.
Cool. No, because it's like, let's say we are in a restaurant and you say, I've never really ordered that before. It's in French. There's a fucking thing there that I've never. And then you say, I'll have the, what a white wine calamari salad with blah. And then they go, that is a fantastic. And then they bang the table. That's a fantastic. You're going to love that. You're a fantastic. The flavor is so nuanced and delicious, and you're going to really love it. You should seriously consider eating some of these other things.
I can honestly say that would not bother me in the slightest.
But that is super chill.
Yeah. Oh, that's. So
and I
funny,
think maybe
really.
and honestly, hearing me talk about this is definitely a me issue.
Yeah.
And
no, I wouldn't even say it's a you issue. I think you were.
No, it is.
You were on the money in terms of sometimes being able to quickly get a sense of whether you and someone is going to get along, and that's like not a bad thing at all. Because I have it too when you have interactions with people on a daily basis. Sometimes you'll be chatting and you'll just click. You'll be flowing. You'll be laughing. It'll be lovely. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be best friends, but it's just a nice interaction. And then sometimes, you'll get a sense of someone and you'll think their energy is a little bit off, or you'll think, they seem nice enough, but not quite like my cup of tea type of person. Yeah. And that's a really good skill to have.
I'm not sure it's a skill. I'm sure
maybe not a skill, but like an awareness and a judgment, like asking someone if they're judgmental, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, I feel like everyone is judgmental. You've got to be judgmental every single day. You've got to be able to judge
do you
hundreds of things and hundreds of people in terms of like, are you going to look down that road? Oh no, I don't like the look of them. I'm going to go this way. Or going into a shop and being like, oh, they look like they've had a bad day. I'm going to like ask them how they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to be judgmental in that way all day. Being judgmental.
No, sorry, go on. Yeah, finish. Sorry.
In the way of like, oh, I'm seeing you, and if you, I don't know, I'm immediately making a judgment on your character, even though I barely know you and you've barely said 2 words to me, in a really deep way. It's a bit like, well.
Yeah, I get what I think maybe the thing is like, it's maybe it's a personality type thing. Because let's replay that whole thing, right? Okay. Now I'm the guy behind the till, and someone comes up and I don't know this person. I work behind the till. I see that they have this book. Now let's assume the best. Let's say that I actually have read it, and I'm not one of these people that say I've read it, but I just maybe I haven't. Because maybe I might be one of these people that are like, oh, of course I've read this. I work in a bookshop. I've read everything that there is in here. I see that this person puts the book down, and instead of saying something like, you're going to love this, because the implication is immediately, I've read it. What you say instead is you put the book down and you say like, have you ever read any of this author before? And then the person says yes or no. So what you're doing is you're immediately putting the thing on them. And it's like, here's the situation now where it's about you, and then I can chime in if I want. I don't
think he did say, you're going to love this, though.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I don't think he said... Why? What do you think he said?
I don't know exactly what he said, but yeah, someone being like, oh, you're going to love this. I can totally see why that would come across as a little bit like, all right, bloody hell, you don't know me,
Well, that's where I feel like my whole thing is based.
I don't think he said that, because otherwise I would be totally... in agreement with you, but I just think he might have said like, I've got a feeling that he did ask if you'd read any others of his stuff, and then
I don't remember. I think that in my mind that came later.
Fair enough.
From what I remember is that he said, you're gonna love this. Yeah. This is an adaptation of blah 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 blah, and then I was instantly overwhelmed by that, and then he was. And then he said, have you ever read any of him before? Oh, okay. And I said no. And then he said, oh, well, it's blah, 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 blah. There's another one that you're that's really good. Just check it out. That's how I remember it. And I feel as if that's why I had an instant
that's fair.
thing,
I understand that. Yeah, if I ordered an item at a restaurant and he was, oh, you're going to love it, I'd probably be like, okay. Like, I don't know. It depends on the tone.
Sure. And I again, like, I do think that I don't go into every situation like that. I don't go into every situation where it's like I see someone and they they make a statement and I'm just like, oh God, it's not like that
you
at all.
don't go into situations knowing that you're going to be able to read someone or anything.
But it's like I feel like that's the superpower. Something inside me will start buzzing, vibrating, and I'll be like, there's someone around here that's gonna, it's gonna make me laugh, or we're gonna have some weird thing. Because in that moment, I remember thinking like, I would have loved to have just he'd have gone like, you're gonna love this, and I just start going like, oh my God, I'm gonna love this, like really over the top, like, this guy said I'm gonna love it, so I'm gonna love it. And then I start kissing the guy, and I'm like, thank you, you found me truly, Now that's like that's obviously taking it to an extreme, but I think that's maybe this weird little streak that I've got in me that is a bit weird, but maybe it's just a bit unique. That'd be funny if your hair looked like that. That's hey, that looks cool. That you look like Velma from with the orange as well.
Nice.
But maybe that's something. Maybe just going forward, maybe that's something where it's like, that's that is a good thing on this podcast. For it's like, look, I've admitted something there about myself, which is a bit.
I honestly wouldn't even be down on yourself thinking you've admitted something really dark or deep either. I think it's fine.
I think it's a bit revealing. I think it's like a bit.
But it's not.
People might listen to this and think, "Oh my God." Well, I'm never going to say to Mike, "Hey, have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried cold brew?" Because I don't want him to fucking jump on me and be like, "Oh, like." But that's not the case. It's not. It's very
I know
nuanced.
what you mean.
I wish I was more like you. You're just like you're just always chill. You're always lovely.
I'm not always chill.
I think you're very chill.
I flap it sometimes and.
Not with people. You're always just like,
I think people. Yeah, I really like people, even if like I meet someone and they say or do something, I'm like, fucking hell, like it's fine.
But a great example the other day. I think this might be funny as well. We were in the gym.
Yeah.
And someone's code wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Right. Someone's code wouldn't work, and they stopped and said, "I'm really sorry. Like I can't get in." And that whole time was like, you were straight on it. You were like,
we both were.
We both were. I didn't shun this person. Again, it was like,
shun.
Reshun. I went and got someone.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, I was like, you were saying like, oh, well, put your code in, try scanning it, and it didn't work. And then you like put your code and see if that works. And I genuinely remember thinking, can we get out of here because it smells of shit? I genuinely remember thinking.
That's funny.
I remember coming out of the pod and being like, why does it smell of shit?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I just want to get, because you're downstairs, I was like, I want to get out.
Yeah.
And then we got stopped, and I was like, classic. Like, I really want to get out because I feel like I'm gagging a bit.
It wasn't her.
It wasn't her at all.
It was just the room.
There was like a vibe of like, those pods.
It just stinks sometimes.
It's like someone had farted in the pod, and I was just like, great, now I stink of fart, and I want to get out into the open as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But then it just kept getting funnier because it was like, someone was like, oh sorry, and I was like, oh yeah, no, let's have a look, and then it was like, okay, that's not scanning, okay, and I was like, like gagging, and then it's like, okay, let's do the code, and then it's like, no, that doesn't work. Then I go round, then I have to go back in the pod. So now it's like, great, now I literally stink of shit.
I didn't smell it that bad. I smelled it a little bit, but the gym does just sometimes stink because it is a gym.
But again, it was like I look over at you and you're there like, smile on your face. Yeah. Let's help.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm running into the staff room going like, someone fucking get in there, please, because like, this person needs to get in.
Oh shit! Bloody hell! I keep knocking this thing. Funny. Oh dear.
Bum 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 bum.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. Thanks for sending in your queries and stuff. We're going to open it back up. When you hear this, go on our Instagram and there'll be I'm doing what you're doing. You do this thing a lot where you like slam your hand down when you talk. It's a proper trait I pick up sometimes of you. You do it all the time.
No,
You could be talking about anything and you go like, and do you know what I mean? And the thing is, then sometimes it'll just catch me as you're doing it, and it'll be a lovely conversation. Just going like, yeah, and like, I'm
doing that to you.
And I'll say, and you'll do that.
I'm touching you.
Yeah, and then I'll kind of, it'll very quickly start to grate on me, so I'll need to sort of like move your hand away.
That's very
I'll
interesting
try
that
and
touch
catch it out next time.
that human touch grates
No,
on you.
the way that you like while you're talking, like slam down intermittently when you're talking and stuff on me. I have
It's
to like
horrible.
listen and move your hand away.
That
like...
sounds genuinely. You're saying that, and all I'm picturing is Hitler. I'm literally picturing Hitler slamming his hand on the desk.
You're not slamming, but I've just caught myself doing it then because I was watching you do it earlier, thinking that's crazy because I don't even think you know you're doing it.
I don't. I genuinely don't know I'm doing that.
But yeah, we'll have an anonymous tip thing.
Well, we're gonna open up an anonymous tip hotline for anyone that wants to complain against us.
Keep growing.
You can only complain against the other person. You have to call in the other person's mobile number.
And you can ask us a question, ask for a piece of advice, pose a query, ask something that's on your mind, and we'll pick one and then do an episode on it. And this one's been really fun.
It's been a lot of fun. We've gone down memory lane.
I definitely get the giggles when it's an evening one.
I definitely get the giggles.
Everything's really funny.
Everything is really funny.
Yeah.
But that was great. Lots of great stuff in there. I think that was a long one. I think it was like an hour 20.
Ooh,
yeah, big one to edit.
Guys.
But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bum, bum, bum.